You're on.
Monday, August 28th, Tufton Borough Selectmen's meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wonderful. Now, public input. Jackie,
Yes,
I bet you're here for public input.
I am.
Okay.
Just 22 cents worth. I found out last week from Adam and then from Jack that the fire suppression system that's gonna be put in the file room that's already fireproof, the doors have to be closed all the time. And that's,
No, incorrect.
well, they both told me that in the specs, it said the doors would be closed.
If they do not put the automatic closes.
We're gonna, because of concerns such as yours, and I'm sure other people in this office,
Yeah.
we're gonna put door closers, and
Okay,
they're gonna be held open with magnets
all right,
that will release in the event that it needs to be closed.
awesome. That's all I wanted to find out, because
Wow.
I was told it wasn't gonna happen. It was like, oh, Jack.
It's been anticipated apparently, that's good. But thank you for your diligence on that, my girl.
Wanted to make sure I didn't walk into the door.
Well, that can be a handful, you see.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
And
See,
any other
I told
public
you it was only
input?
22 cents worth.
Right. Any other public input? Seeing none, I'm gonna quickly go into the review of minutes. Let's look at Monday, August 7th. I've read through these. Nothing jumped out at me as being particularly incorrect or needed correction, so I'd make a motion to accept as written.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Monday, August 14th. I was not present for that meeting. Do either of you two have corrections or any concerns with those?
Not with this draft. Nope. These,
I'll make a motion that these are accepted as written.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain. Moving right along,
Got it, no.
we have our fire chief, Adam Thompson, who looks like he's on vacation.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, Adam, as always. Thank you.
As of 2023, today's date, we've had 130 fire calls, 184 EMS calls, 73 service calls, 11 special details totaling 398. Gas furnace inspections 45, oil burner inspections 5, wood pellet stove inspections 6, and life safety 30. And just a note on those, if we fail a person for that, we don't count those until we actually go back and
Well, they've been corrected.
been corrected as far as it goes.
Cool.
We have quite a few in the past that we would have been higher in numbers, but we were waiting for something to be corrected on. So there was a total of 86 of those. The 2022 numbers are about even with this year's numbers, as you can see. The following is an update for the larger calls and not a full list of day-to-day calls. We had a smoke investigation in Little Cove Island, 3:09 p.m. About 1 with 3 personnel found and extinguished an unintended outside campfire. And we followed up with the owner later on. 8/6 reported illegal outside burning for Little Bear Island, 6:16 p.m. Boat 1, 3 personnel, and a sheriff's deputy responded. A permitted outside fire was found, and a neighbor dispute and a police matter was noted with that.
Question.
Yes.
Since this was a reported illegal burn and it wasn't, it was a permitted burn, does the person that called in,
Reported it.
and is an illegal burn get fined?
They
Or
They
warned
don't.
somehow?
They don't get fined as far as it goes. They supposedly thought that it was, bigger fire than what was permitted as far as it goes. There is an ongoing dispute, however, in that particular area. And if we see a pattern with that, then we would fine, the other person as far as
First time,
goes.
probably not.
But the sheriff's department ended up having to take care of
Something you don't want to
an
get in the
issue.
middle of.
Something that wasn't your problem.
The boat ended up turning around when they were halfway back for a neighbor dispute with two lots there, and they took care of whatever they had to take care of. 8/9/23, fire alarm activation, mutual aid Wolfboro, 5 Wickers Drive, 1:27 a.m. Engine 2, car 1 responded with 3 personnel. Engine 1 moved to Central Station, stood by with 6 personnel due to a power outage in multiple towns. Wolfboro lost radio communications temporarily, taken over by Carroll County Sheriff's Dispatch until they could get their problem fixed. And we handled the Wickers Drive incident because Wolfboro was out on multiple alarm activations at that time. Propane leak, 99 Dame Road on 8/9, engine 2, engine 1 and rescue 1, ambulance 1 responded to the scene, 9 personnel. 8/12, fire alarm activation, 37 South Main Street, Wolfboro, 3:40 p.m. Engine 2, 3 personnel responded to the scene. Wolfboro was out on multiple calls. 8/4/23, a water ski accident, Lake Winnipesaukee, 144 Governor Wentworth Highway, 5:20 p.m. Ambulance 1, Utility 2 with 3 personnel, and Tuftonville PD along with Stewart's ambulance at the scene, and Stewart's transported 1 patient. 8/16, electrical order burning in the basement, 1 Tuftonville Neck Road, 7:21 a.m. Engine 2, car 1, rescue 1, 6 personnel found an electric fire with an electric hot water heater. 8/16, box truck through telephone pole with wires and transformer down. The driver was injured and trapped in the vehicle. At 7:58 a.m., rescue 1, ambulance 1 with 4 personnel, Stewart's ambulance along with Tuftonville PD responded to the scene. Stewart's ambulance transported 1 patient to Huggins Hospital with Tuftonboro medic on board their ambulance. 8/19, engine 2, rescue 1, car 1, ambulance 1 responded with 7 personnel with Stewart's ambulance and Tuftonboro PD for a reported chimney fire at 12 Forest Road in Melton Village. And I know it's summertime, but there actually was a fire. 8/23/23, Tuftonboro Fire, along with Tuftonboro PD, Stewart's ambulance dispatched for a motor vehicle accident versus horse and wagon in the area of 99 Union Wharf Road. Rescue 1, ambulance 1, and engine 1 responded with 7 personnel. 1 patient was transported to Huggins by Stewart's, and 2 patients were signed off at the scene.
Something you don't hear about very
No.
often.
Assuming the horse was all right?
The horse apparently was checked the next day by a veterinarian, taken to the veterinarian,
Mhm.
but the horse was led away from the scene back to the owners. I
Okay.
haven't heard anything further with that, but obviously the wagon didn't hold up very well to the vehicle that
Sure.
struck it.
Sure.
So, no, you do not hear that very well often.
No.
8/23/23, UTV rollover, Northwoods Road, 2:54 p.m. Tuftonboro Fire Rescue, Tuftonboro PD, and Stewart's ambulance responded to the scene. Tuftonboro ambulance transported 2 patients to Huggins Hospital as the Stewart's unit ended up getting stuck at the scene. So our ambulance took care of the transport of that. 8:15, the department, on 8/15, the department discussed a future subdivision at 421 Governor Wentworth Highway with engineering firm Northern Plains. More information will follow as the project progresses through the planning process.
Where is 421?
421 would be just before what used to be the Pine Cone.
Yeah,
That's steep.
ready
Oh,
between
airfield.
ready between Lad
Lad
Eaton's
Eaton's
and the motel.
The planning board had sent them to us with questions in reference to, subdivisions and stuff like that. So, as we get further more information, we'll update you. 8/16, the department had a second meeting with Northwoods Camp with their construction firm and the fire protection firm referenced their dining hall expansion. Per the selectmen's request, we are still collecting and compiling a comparative document as to what surrounding communities are charging for inspection fees. They're very immensely different. This should be completed in a week or two. I just wanted to follow up with the select board in reference to the vault project, and obviously from our emails back and forth, Bob, you were going to take care of the closers.
Yep.
If we had the money to do so.
Yep.
Where we had the concern of people going in and out and having to keep the doors.
Sounds like he had included the magnets in his proposal.
Which is great.
The only thing that we have to purchase
Would be the closers.
and I think there's money in the budget for that.
Okay. In the last email I had seen, apparently he had dropped off the plans at the station or somewhere. And
And did you receive one of these?
they may have received that. I didn't see it when I went in and Caleb was out. Out and about.
I don't really need this for my own. Would you like to have that?
If we have one already, I can let you know if we need it.
Okay.
It sounded like that he had dropped it off, so it's probably just where I didn't see it. And just a follow-up as far as the new car one, it is in. That's a picture of it. We took delivery on the 7th. The cap was installed on the 15th. Plow installed on the 23rd. The lettering and design completed on 8/24. And that was a meeting.
It's red.
It's red. And it will be lettered at a future date. It looks like it's scheduled for the 25th of September. The lights and siren package will be installed by Osby Mountain Electronics, and their closest scheduled date was 10/2/23. Production of the center console in the command center for the back should have been shipped out on 8/28, so we should be seeing that any day now. The temporary plates obviously will expire on the 27th, and we're in the process of changing over the plates from Car 1, the current Car 1 to that. Car 1's, which is the Suburban, future process for liquidation. Can we sell directly to another municipality without going out to bid? It would be a question.
Is that a question you want an answer to right now?
No, I don't need an answer right now, but it's something that I would be looking for an answer. Selling directly to another municipality would significantly reduce the cost, as we will be able to leave some of the emergency lighting that cannot be transferred over to the new vehicle. They will just be collecting dust in storage. We will have to remove the lighting, stripping the vehicle with all the striping and lettering. The Effingham Fire Chief has shown a significant interest in it. I did have a discussion with the transfer station, also Chris Rule, offering the vehicle to his department also. I know that he had inquired about the police pickup. I think that this Suburban's in much better shape as far as frame and body wise, if they were looking to use a vehicle to travel back and forth to trainings or put a plow on. But
I'd sooner get a price from Effingham, see what they wanna pay for it.
Okay.
I mean, I think we're gonna be.
Investigate that when you get.
Yep, and I know that, obviously they're a smaller department than we are, and would be, it would be a decent vehicle for what they are looking for. The Tuftonboro Firefighters Association has been working on purchasing and the donation of a UTV plus trailer and tracks to the Tuftonboro Fire Rescue Department for the last 2 years. This is one of the Fire Rescue's 10-year CIP recommendations. Scheduled purchase date was 2024 for $80,000. the Firefighters Association has purchased a Can-Am Defender HD 10 Pro Limited with tracks installed from HK Power Sports in Laconia, a Alcom Stealth enclosed trailer from Scott's Recreation in Maine.
So did you spend $80,000?
We have not yet, no.
How did you buy it?
The association has purchased the.
How much did they pay?
We have spent so far approximately $65,000 out of $70,000 that
On
we
this
were looking
one?
at the package.
And this, when you say tracks, this is a four-wheeler with tracks?
It's a UTV with tracks, yes. So what we currently do in the wintertime, as far as snow machine trails, out on the lake and things like that, we run tracks on the four-wheeler that we have. That way we don't need to have a snow machine. And another unit as far as that goes. Snow machines only are good for part of the year, obviously, when there's snow on the ground. UTV can be run year-round. You know, we
So you
switch
take
from
the
tracks
off and put
to wheels.
on?
Yep,
Yeah.
that is correct.
So the Firefighters Association, the money that you've spent, is that from all donated funds?
Yes,
Nice.
yes.
You'll ask us to take this as a donation? at some
Yes,
point?
further down in here, obviously there'll need to be a public hearing, as we always
Right.
have had to have as far as from the association, donating the UTV and the equipment to the fire department. But we do not have the package complete yet to be able to donate that. We're still waiting for parts to come in.
So is it here, is the unit here?
The UTV is in the station.
Okay.
We're waiting for the tracks. We're waiting for the skid tank that goes in the back.
And that's a water skid tank?
It's a water skid tank, but it also has an area that you can transport a victim on top of it in the back in a Stokes unit.
That'd be a great ride, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
it'll be interesting. They're used, throughout
Yeah.
different areas. It's not something uncommon to departments as far as it goes.
So you're looking to use this thing for forestry?
For forestry, for any, in the woods rescues as far as it goes.
So I'm thinking
Wintertime, so much.
of this skid tank. That's a forestry.
It'll have a pump and it has a 55-gallon tank. Our four-wheeler that we have has a 25-gallon tank that rides behind the seat with a small pump attached to it for that. Engine 4 is still in Portland, Maine at the Power Sports of New England. We can't proceed further with repairs until parts that are on national back order come in. We are currently $11,295.57 with repairs from Lakes Region Fire Apparatus and towing. No repair completion date is known.
So Maine Power Sports of New England, is that where?
It's a Detroit.
They're not giving us anything for we spent 40 grand on that thing.
Right.
Is this the turbo or the balloon motor?
The turbo is the $11,295.57, and the towing from here to Lakes and towing from Lakes to Maine, as far as that goes.
But we're talking two separate vehicles. The one with the turbo is not the one with the blown motor, right?
Yes, it's the same.
Oh, it's the same one.
So we're buying the turbo, that's all, or how much we buy?
So far, we've purchased the turbo and purchased towing.
Yeah.
For the $11,295.57.
And what's the estimated cost?
There is no estimate yet as far as it goes, because we don't know if we can get the parts that we need to make the engine run. They're on back order, so there's no estimate for that, and I can't give you an estimate until they give me
So just
one.
bear with me here. So we've already spent over $11,000 on an engine that we're not sure that we can repair.
We know that we can repair it. We just need,
We just don't know when.
there's one
Okay.
part that
Alright.
they're waiting for, and without that part, there's
Okay.
no sense of putting the engine back together, because that could be the area, where the metal was coming from, that they had found in the engine.
Just a question as far as operation of these, of all our diesels go.
Mhm.
Is there a recommended cool down time on these things?
As far as
When-
shutting them off
Yes.
and things like
Yeah,
that?
and letting the turbo cool down and,
Usually, we bring them back, and, shut them off. I have heard in the past as far as, different things, but I couldn't tell you, I would have to look into it further. I couldn't truthfully tell you if, shutting it down, right off the bat does damage to the trucks. No one has.
my research has told me that it can,
Okay.
okay?
So there's-
And sometimes it's a minute to 2 minutes to let it idle down,
Mhm.
because the turbochargers can get extremely hot,
Yeah.
like 1500 degrees, and the casings tend to, what do I wanna call it, heat cycle, and,
Okay.
and you can do some damage, but if you don't mind looking into that,
Right, well,
it wouldn't be a huge difference in your procedures, but it might save an engine at some point.
right.
My experience with turbos that I've owned, I've had a couple, is
Mhm.
there's a cool down time of a couple minutes before
But
you shut it off.
there's no expected warranty on this?
There was a 1-year warranty with
Yeah.
that, but we're 2 years into
Yeah.
this whole thing.
I don't know. And they won't give you a number on what it's gonna cost to get it done?
I can.
There's certain consumer protections that go into this business.
Okay.
And they're supposed to tell you what it's gonna cost before they do the work.
Well, as far as, we need to know what the repairs are going to be before we can get a price as far as an estimated. I can, when I'm back tomorrow, I've got a training to go to, and after that, Tuesdays are usually the day that we get updated on anything. I know that the person that was working with this and giving us updates was out on vacation at the same time as I was, as far as it goes, so there wasn't anything further with that. I understand as far as the concern, but Detroit has said, the company as far as Detroit, the engine said that it had a 1-year warranty, and that was it, as far as the work.
Well,
And we're
actually-
2 years.
Yeah, actually
Into-
Detroit didn't say that, their local division said that.
No?
They make those, did you get the letter from,
As far as, I was on the phone with the actual Detroit dealership, as far as,
Yeah,
the
it
parent
just-
company. And they were the ones, and I do have paperwork that says that, we're outside of that warranty period. So, whether we want to get town council involved in that, I would leave that.
well, we
up to
can't,
Selectmen.
because they won't give us a number. I mean, we have no idea what it's gonna cost
Right.
us to fix this thing. And I can't imagine that they don't know what it's gonna take. Are they gonna put parts in and try it, and if they break, they're gonna try something else?
Well, that is the thing, did we get all of the metal out of the engine?
Well, it's not your job to get the metal out of it.
No, what I'm saying is, did they find it all? Because they don't know where it's coming from, as far as whether,
The only way to get it all down is to tear down the motor entirely.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And they're not there yet.
Right.
They haven't torn the motor apart?
It's a part to a certain degree, as far as that goes. And the parts that they were concerned about are the parts that they're waiting for.
What are these parts? What are?
There was, there was a area or a piece that they think that the metal was going through or possibly coming from. can't remember what it actually is called.
Well, if it helps you, set your mind at ease any, I probably wouldn't know what it was anyway. But I didn't know the name, so. It does seem like we're in a spot where we're kind of over a barrel and being held hostage, and
Right.
I'm not sure that I like it.
Clean spool valve. Sounds like what they're looking at. So there's actually metal passing through an area, you know, somewhere there, that there shouldn't be metal being able to pass through with all of
Gonna get into the turbo and talk
all
about
the
the turbo.
devices that are there, so.
Is it coming from the turbo?
Well, it's had turbo issues with, you know, after we got it back from
And did they
the company,
put
they
a new
replaced
turbo-
two turbos.
They put a new one on when
They
rebuilt
put
the
two
engine?
on.
Okay.
So, these two turbos that they've already replaced,
Yes,
did they find out what was failing them?
no,
So you may have a leg to stand on. If this has been a continuing problem since
Yeah.
right,
before the warranty expired, this may be a continuation of that.
of whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well, if you had a problem from the beginning and they replaced two turbochargers,
Yeah,
it's after the replacement of the second turbocharger that your warranty starts to run,
okay.
not from the day you pick the truck up. I mean, but that's,
But it still would be 2 years. It's been 2 years since the second one was replaced.
Well, if it's another 2 years since the second one was replaced.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, let's see if we can't get a number out of them so we know how deep in a hole we are.
okay,
So-
I can do that.
And it may be just an estimate, but anything at this point is better than nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously Molten Burl's engine is in our Mirror Lake station for
Mhm.
a loaner. We made sure that it was insured and that Primex was covering it while we were using it. Right.
4 members.
4 members of the department have been assigned for replacement turnout gear due to the 10-year replacement requirements by NFPA. This gear will not be received for 8 to 12 months. We just received 3 sets of replacement turnout gear at the beginning of August 2023 that was ordered in August of 2022.
Takes a year to get that.
It takes a
stuff
year to
done.
get it now. We were
To get
getting
from
it
Globe?
within, yes. We were getting it within 2 months
Mhm.
in the past, and then things went right out. And that falls into the same thing as far as fire engines. We
Right.
used to be able to get them in a year, now it's 2 years to 3 years as far as, once you order them. Scott Thompson Electric is working on the installation of the stationary generator at the Melvin Station today. He will be taking out the 2 old panels and replacing them with a new 200 amp panel, making the complete project safer. There will be no charge for the panel replacement. And that's what has been done so far.
And so he wasn't obligated to
Replace
change
the
out
panels,
right?
That's correct. But once he looked at them on Friday, he felt that it was gonna be a much cleaner process to change out the panel. And there would be room enough for the new equipment to go in.
It's very nice of him to do that.
So it's a 200 amp service. We have a 100 amp there. If for some reason there was expansion in that, there's room, it would just have to be brought in from the outside.
Is he putting an automatic test timer on it?
Everything, it has
Clock, it's
everything.
got a clock on it?
Yeah, everything that was requested, as far as selectmen when we had the discussion, it was all
They
in.
Photoshop that generator into that, that's what it looks like.
Just an update for the selectmen, DePrigios of Middleton was the highest bidder for that large white hazmat truck parked at Central Station for $7,500. The sale of the truck by Ospey Valley Mutual Aid Association was okayed by the State of New Hampshire's grant department. The truck was moved to Mirror Lake Station and will be picked up in 2 weeks. Tufton Borough Police Sergeant James Hathcock went through a train-the-trainer on school incidents over a 5-day period held at Kingswood High School. It was put on by Wolfboro Police Department, Wolfboro Fire Department. He and the Tufton Borough Police Department will be taking part in a joint training soon with Tufton Borough Fire Rescue, as we did not have a unit that could attend all 5 days. The person that went needed to be there for all 5 days. We didn't have someone that could do that. We appreciate the sergeant bringing back the training and the information so our department can train as well. And that's so far.
Yes.
So, two things. One, thank you very much for the help you gave Cammy on the grant that we applied for Union Wharf. We got the grant.
You got it?
Yeah,
Yes,
it
we
worked out well. We're still struggling with our road agent and the FEMA grant.
No, there has nothing been declared with that, so it's not his fault as
Okay,
far
but
as
everything that he needs to do has been done.
he's given me all of what he needs to,
Okay.
as far as, but there is no one from FEMA that has come to us and said this has been declared.
Nothing's been awarded yet.
Because we're.
I heard something about like 100,000.
Yeah, 110,000.
107 last math.
Upside down.
Right. It was just under $50,000, which his estimate was for that. And as he had done the work, apparently they were turning in, the actual bills to me, and I've been putting them in a file.
Help me out with the math. If you came up with an estimate of $40-something thousand, how come we're 107,000 upside
Because
down?
there was more storms before that were declared, and we missed out on one of them.
Okay, so this is just for that.
This is just for
that
one storm.
Okay, all right.
You can't go back and get the money from.
And was there, I don't know if it was this or somewhere else I heard about, we needed to get some sort of market value for
Yes.
time and equipment?
Yes, as far as with the state and FEMA, the town needs to have at least 3 bids somewhere on the books to show that you went out and got, fair market value as far as people doing work for the town, and to show that he is reasonable as far as what he's doing, so that, because we don't, it's emergency work. We don't go out and get 3 bids
And wait to do the emergency.
and wait to do the work as far as
You
that
can't
goes.
always do that.
But that could be on any town project. For instance, if we had a bid on the police station that we're about to build, or on the fire station we did build, or on the Union Wharf that we're gonna do.
That mostly, well, we, per the information that we have and what we have been told from FEMA as far as it goes, if you don't have that paperwork in place, sometimes they'll come back and look for the money back. There was a agency or a town in Maine that they were looking to take back like $300-something thousand that was granted to them as far as that goes. And for some reason, the information that is required is slipping my mind as far as what it's actually called. But we do have a policy in place that says that we'll get 3 bids.
Procurement policy.
Procurement policy. Thank you very much. And we're not following a procurement policy when we just have the road agent do the
Right.
work as far as it goes. So you need to do it ahead of time.
Well, it's called an emergency for a reason.
Yes.
And I don't know, and maybe you do, or you could find out if it's possible that rather than putting things out to bid, if we could get labor and equipment prices.
Well, that's what it.
Not necessarily the whole job, but just what people
Right.
would charge. Is that-
That's what we
Okay.
were discussing.
That's what we.
Yes.
Okay.
So
You could
prices
add-
on what they would charge if they did
Man labor, 10-wheeler, excavator, backhoe,
Okay.
yada yada.
brought in this, you
So it
know,
isn't
whatever
actually,
is
it's
needed.
not an actual bid on the project, an
No,
emergency.
it's what they charge.
Material costs, okay, I mean, later on. Good.
So,
Yep.
and that would satisfy the feds and the state.
Yep.
It shows that the town is actually, you know, doing
Paying attention.
something,
Well, that sounds good.
and they wouldn't take the money back.
All right. Anything else for the chief?
So we're gonna check on Effingham for the
Yes.
car one.
Yep.
You're gonna have car one, new car one on board in October.
Yeah, it looks, well,
Or
we'll
you
be
may-
running it before then,
Yeah.
as far as that goes. It just will not have all the lighting and stuff, as far as it goes.
When you bring back that, those numbers for Effingham, can you also bring just like a Cali Blue Book value of what that vehicle
Sure.
would be?
Yeah. Yep.
Something you can compare it to.
Yeah, while I was out on vacation, the chief had sent an email that said, do you know if your select board would be willing to do a direct sale to another municipality? So apparently they are looking at that. I think that whatever they have in town has issues, so far beyond anything that our vehicle would have. So,
Great.
Perfect.
All right, thanks so much, chief.
thank you for your time.
Next up, we have our transfer station superintendent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
So we're making strides, but we're still off. I'm kind of ready for the elephant in the room. The CD is still down.
Is it just July?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm taking the inchworm
Well,
outside.
thank you. Yeah. Just the month of July. We're still off by 1,000. We're off 1,000.
$100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're inching closer, but yeah, I think it's the little stuff in occupancy. I think it's the people coming in with, you know, a couple of woods, you know, a little few scraps here and there. It's the small stuff that's hard to gauge. And we don't necessarily have a minimum charge. You know, it's I try to have a standard where, you know, it's $5. It's a $5. It's a minimum $5. You know, but you know, somebody comes in with 3 boards, you know, with window painting, and you know, it's $2, or it's, you know, a local that comes in 7 times a week, or, you know, that's exaggeration, but, you know, and you tell him, I'll get you next time, because he's coming in all the time, and you don't want to nickel and dime these people that come in all the time, and that's what I think we're losing, because sometimes they come in with a bucket, and you charge them $20. And then sometimes they come in 1 2x4 and you tell them, I'll meet you next time. And the guys that come in with the dump trailers, we're charging $400 and they're paying. But we're still $1,000 short.
$1,100.
Yeah, you know, almost, yeah.
And your tonnage is up, so.
Yeah, so I think we're, you know, I mean, we're, if you look at the second page, you know, the cost sheet that you guys don't like to see, it's not the cost sheet, it's the time sheet. You know, we did 56 tons in July. But overall, year to date, we're up, we're 508 tons for the year.
10,000,
Yeah. So,
10 tons over last year.
yeah, we're up in everything except for glass, basically. And I'm sure we'll see that before the year's up.
And are we separating paper?
Not at this point, no, because we can't find out, but I was going to do that pilot program
Right.
till summer, but we couldn't find an outlet for it. I went through it in RA, and we just couldn't find a good place to get rid of it, so.
What's our? So, year to date, $68,000. So have we made any money on our cardboard? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's a-
well, I'm waiting for the check still to come in, but it was $88 a thousand, so it's probably gonna be about 3,000. And I'm currently sitting on, I have 29,000, almost 30,000 pounds on the deck now. And,
Ready to go?
yeah, we've been clawing.
So that'll put you over last year's,
Yeah,
numbers.
I'll have it, and I'll probably have a partial third load going before the end of the year. I've got 1,700 pounds plus of batteries that need to go out. I've got just the wire cords that we've been clipping. The pilot program, we've got over 1,000 pounds of cords on deck. I've got 6,800 pounds of crushed aluminum better cans on the deck right now.
Yeah,
And
because we're not seeing anything in aluminum on this schedule.
Did you say cords?
cords,
What do you do, just cut the cords off of electrical appliances and save them?
yeah,
For the copper?
for the wire.
The wire, the copper
Yeah.
wire.
And I don't have a weight right now, but I've been pulling motors out of appliances for cords. And I'm gonna send those to Harding now.
Good.
So, I won't know till I send that shipment, but at some point in time I'll find out what to get for that. It won't be a huge amount of money, but it'll be something.
And are we still taking used oil?
We are, but,
Are we charging for it or?
we are, and that's, we only make $12.50 for the month of July, but that's another thing we need to talk about. We can talk about it now, we can talk about it later, but since we initiated the fees, we talked about that 14 months ago, we initiated fees for the oil. We've only collected $835. The oil recycling company has gone from, when we talked about it 14 months ago, what it was, they charged $1,250 or whatever it was. They've gone from $1,250 to $3,500. So we're in the hole $2,800, whatever it might
Once
be.
again.
So I've applied for a grant for Concord to the DES for whatever the difference is. I haven't heard back from them. So that's a reoccurring grant. So if we get the difference of $3,500 to get the tank pump, next year I can apply for whatever the difference is that we make. But it's a losing proposition.
So if we don't get that grant, we need to be talking about increasing the fee?
Or not taking it, period, and telling these people, go to Napa, go to Walmart, go to O'Reilly's. These places take it for free.
I think they only take it, if you buy oil from them, they'll take what you buy 5 quarts, they'll take 5 quarts.
But Walmart has a sign in our noise that says we take waste oil. Doesn't say, doesn't have a contingency, it just says we take waste oil. We can do more
I've
research
just
on
seen
that.
Walton's lose money, I don't think they'll lose
I mean, I can do more research on that, we don't have to make a decision now. I'm just saying that this is something we need to discuss.
Well, when are you gonna hear on this grant from DES?
I'm gonna have to, follow up on it because we've applied for it and we haven't heard. I would expect that I would have heard by now, but we did. So it's been, Tammy, what's it been, 2 weeks
4.
for that grant that we sent in?
Yeah, at least.
So I can follow up, actually I can call tomorrow and see if,
Yeah.
see what the status is. I mean, it's not, usually it takes about 30 days, I think, for them to turn that stuff around. So-
Well, but it just makes, changes when we have the conversation about
Right.
what we're gonna do.
So, I mean, I think there's some conversations that we need to start thinking about in the future. Brush, I think might be another conversation that we might think about having in the future. We're charging, nominal fee for that, and we're seeing that increase, tenfold, and it's costing us, the taxpayers, $5,000. Dollars to have that crushed up and ground up. And it's just, we're seeing trouble after trouble come in, and we asked people that bring it in, was kind of from like, oh, we're cleaning up our property. And we're like, don't you have like 50 acres? We're like, oh yeah. Cool. Why aren't you like burning it or dragging it out in the woods so that compost? Oh, okay.
It's a lot more work to bring it up to the recycling center.
And then there's no product that we're getting out of that either, is there? I mean,
Well-
it's not like we've got a big pile of wood chips.
Well, we do have a big pile of wood chips up there, but we're
I'm not selling them.
we're composting that back into the ground up there because it's
Right.
huge hole. If we were mixing that with some sand and making loam, that would be one thing, or if we were reselling it, it would be another thing, but if we had, we could do a lot of things. If we had a trommel up there and we would mix it in.
Compost it.
Yeah, we could turn that place into,
Why can't we burn it occasionally, have a bonfire up there?
we would have to ask for commercial burn permit from the fire warden, from the state fire warden. And we have to have some controls in place for the fire. But there's a law in place for New Hampshire air pollution that is really strict on transfer station burning brush.
And burning at transfer stations or former landfills, it just sends up all these red flags.
I know, because the heat goes down as well,
Yeah.
catches things on fire underground.
I think there's a lot of things. We have a lot of
There's
ideas.
probably methane coming out of those vents. And all of a sudden the whole place will blow up. And how's your hole in your parking lot? What have you done for that?
I think that maybe we might want to discuss getting some bids on having that repaired. There's a lot of things that we might want to look down the road at. The walls for the bottle containers would really get in bad shape. I talked about that on the future CIP. Maybe we should all get together and take a look at those at some point in time. I want to get some prices from the concrete people so that we can start looking down the road at getting that done. We had talked at one point in time about the parking lot down the road maybe have enough circles, that's going to be good enough to crack, but the top section of that's really starting to fall apart and break up. And the road coming in has some really big dips in it, and I think that eventually if those dips keep sinking, there's going to be some problems there with some bad cracks and maybe some washouts. So we should maybe get those addressed at least. Have maybe those cut out and filled in and paved over to flatten that out.
Isn't that work that our road agent can do?
I would hope so, it's a town road.
But, I mean,
And fixing the your hole in the parking
well,
lot?
I think that in a perfect world, that would be, the answer to that would be yes. But I think, I mean, with the weather that we've been having, to defend Jim, I mean, he's working full-time just fixing washouts. I mean, go down and talk about that road, it's a horror show. And that's just one road. If you go up Ledge Hill Road, I mean, pay attention, because if you get your eyes off the road, you're gonna end up in a freaking problem. So I think that we could have some help to help him.
Yeah, I just wanna, I mean, if we were gonna go out to bid, we need to have some kind of design so we could go out to bid with it.
Well, it's just a, it's a catch basin header, it needs to be built up. I mean, I've done dozens of them, but it's not something that I think we have the time to do
Right.
up there on our own, with everything else going on, unless we do it on our days off. But it's just a culvert basin that needs to be built up and then concreted with the
Right.
top. But it needs to be dug out, it needs to be.
And we need to do it before winter,
Absolutely, it's a problem.
so.
I think we should have a discussion with our road agent.
Well, I think we can do that in conjunction with having Chris go out and get some bids on it. I mean,
Yeah.
Whether Chris goes out and gets bids on it, or the road agent goes out and gets bids on it, because he's too busy to do it himself,
yeah,
we need bids on it.
right.
And I would just assume that Chris take the ball on this and start it rolling now, so that we don't wait any longer than we absolutely have to, and I don't know how you guys feel about that, but
No, I think we'll know what it costs. I
it
mean,
gives us an idea where we're headed.
a great way to satisfy FEMA.
Mhm.
You know, we've got a job, put it out for bid, this is the
Right.
cost for equipment and labor to do this.
I'd say figure it out, go out there and talk to people, get what you can get, bring us back 3 estimates, whatever it might have to be done. I'm all willing to go with that.
Yeah, local contractors.
And on something that might help out in the future, we had talked about the possibility of creating a revolving fund for the transfer station. Not only is that possible, the RSA's really say you can do it. Audrey, our nice town administrator, has provided me with 2 different warrant articles and ways to go about this. She's also said that the town of Effingham has done it, it's worked out really well. I just noticed, for example, that this month, these total fees collected, which this warrant article says we could use, they're over $8,000. So in the end of the year, if we pulled in $80,000 to $100,000 that went in the revolving fund, it starts to reduce our budget that we need to work with quite a bit. And when budget season comes, we'll go through this a little tighter. Right now, I just want everybody to know that this can be done by law, and it could possibly help us out at some point in time. And I'll keep that, and when we get to budget season, let's take a look at it.
Okay.
Anything more for Chris? Go get him, big fella.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Mr. and Mrs. Lochner of Blank Pond Road.
Comes regulars.
Feel free to sit up with us if you'd like. Okay. Feel part of the group. There you are.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, how you guys doing?
Welcome back.
Thank you. Okay, so we just wanted to follow up with you on the last meeting we had. I think that
in general, I think we were in agreement on things that had to be done, that need to be done within reason. And I wonder if you've discussed it amongst yourselves further since that meeting, and again, what we can do to help
Yeah.
facilitate this.
All right, I will preface anything else by saying, I've been gone in Europe and in Michigan. I was gone for basically the month of
Oh,
August.
good for you.
Shot, so any discussions that went on in my absence, I am not privy to.
Okay.
At this point in time.
Okay, so then you can't take any of the blame or the glory.
I'm willing to take the blame.
Okay.
So where in Europe were you?
Hungary.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's an unusual destination.
When your wife was born and raised in Budapest, it's not so unusual.
That's kind of cool. Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah.
All right, so.
So anyway, I think, we take this one issue at a time. I think the road is probably one of the first ones.
Right, and we have, I know on a couple of occasions talked about plugging things in. I know the police showed up down there for a speed check at least once, maybe more than once.
Wolfboro did too, by the way.
And Wolfboro probably did as
They
well.
did, yeah.
Wolfboro is more present going back
Yeah.
and forth than Tuftonboro.
Well, they have more police officers.
Yeah.
A lot more.
Okay.
And the problem we have with the road agent is that, I mean, we've just been dealing with flood washouts all summer.
Oh, I know.
And, Lang Pond Road's issues are not top of the list.
Well, by the way, before you go any further, I want to thank everybody I sent a message to you in general and said, between the two culverts, there are a lot of potholes and stuff, and when those big trucks go through, boom, boom, and the cottage shakes and everybody goes to the sidelines. And so they came and fixed that.
Yeah.
So that was appreciated.
No, I'm sure that Jim did all that he could, given the limitations that he's had this summer.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't think that, we're sort of working our way through the summer, so I think our expectation was that this season, you're not gonna be saved.
Well,
we're gonna work on the
Exploring our
process.
options.
Yeah. You talked about speed bumps.
Well, that may be an answer, but I think that if the police could hang out there a little more often, looking for speeders, and just give them a warning,
Yeah.
or a ticket for repeat people. I know who goes through there fast, because I'm outside, I row out there, I say I like swim and all that stuff, and some people just go right through there really fast.
I'd suggest you do what Max Ledoux has done and get a radar gun, but I don't know that that's changed anything on Durgan.
Not a bit that I can see. We still have his same complaints. You're not the only people. I'm sure you're aware of that.
Oh, sure.
And on numerous occasions over the last, quite a few selectmen's meetings, we've asked the police chief to step up his radar patrols.
So Judy has a
I
question.
have a question regarding that. It may not be politically correct, but I'd like to know who sets the direction for the police chief. Is it you as selectmen, or does he choose his choices of?
Well, the police chief is his own entity. We hire him and expect him to run his department.
Yeah.
We can give him nudges. And I suppose ultimately we could give him direction.
Within the budget.
Correct.
So within the budget, is he allowed to give out tickets?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or any of, I think there's 3 officers
Mhm.
plus him?
No.
3 total.
No, 3 total.
3 total.
Total.
Yeah, but how he manages his department and his officers,
Right.
that's really his business.
Mhm.
And that's a tricky business. I mean, we can't tell him what his schedule should be, or have him tell us what his schedule is, because it's really not for public consumption. All the policemen are down on Lang Pond Road, so let's rob the bank in Milton Village, that sort of thing. So,
Well,
Okay, well.
it seems to me, and I don't know if Cammie was the one that responded to Kip, but I go and I'm in the community garden many times a week, and there are 3 vehicles that are Tufton Borough Police vehicles.
Williams?
one of them is not commissioned, or whatever that means.
That's right.
One is getting registered, and one sits there that I can see. They're always in the exact same spot. Why can't you take one of them and put it in a spot for a day or two? And I think we'll see, oh my God, there's a police car down there. It'll take people a little while to realize there's nobody inside of it. That can't cost a lot of money.
They do this in Florida.
I'm sure they do.
And I'm not gonna say that it hasn't been suggested, but the idea hasn't met with a lot of enthusiasm. One thing I can say from being a teenager in this town, an empty police car is a really, really inviting place to pour 5 pounds of sugar, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that it was ever done before. Vandalism of an empty car is something that I just am aware of. It could happen. I'm not saying that it will or it won't. I like the idea, and if all of a sudden one day there was a police officer sitting in it, that'd be even cooler,
Well,
wouldn't it?
that would be. So,
But the idea has been thrown around. We haven't met with a lot of enthusiasm.
can you suggest to the chief that he have an officer himself hang out there occasionally?
I believe we have.
I haven't seen it.
We've,
That doesn't mean he hasn't done it, but I
I
guess
guess my statement that I said about a minute ago, on numerous occasions, we've asked him to step up his radar patrols.
And what's the
Around town.
response?
He
Well,
said,
he did-
I'll do my best.
He did
He took it under advisement.
tell me
That's not an
that
answer,
he had
though.
been,
Let me,
That's like me saying to a customer, I'll do
I
my best.
ran
next
into
week.
him out in the lobby, I don't know, it was a week or two ago. And I said, how's things on Lamp Pond Road? And he said, well, we were down there, and this happened and that happened. I said, good, we'll keep plugging away at it, because, you know, it's like you put a speed trap up on Ledge Hill Road, where I live, and you put it up there on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. That's not when you're gonna catch the people that are speeding. It's Monday morning at 6 o'clock.
Exactly.
You know, they have a schedule, and that's what Max has been informing me
Mhm.
about.
Yep.
So,
We can, we can ask him, but we can't compel him.
right.
Okay, I was
Well, that's-
under the
yeah, I
impression that
understand.
it was more.
And it's hard to get rid of them, so don't think that's an option. It isn't.
I'm not suggesting that.
Okay.
In fact, I was doing a little research for one of my companies, and I found when he stopped to talk to me a month or 2 ago, he was explaining how hard it was to get good radios. Motorola wasn't making them anymore, and he went to some other company, and I found a really good one. And I sent him the information and said, I remember our conversation, and here's a possible good option for you. And he thanked me. So, you know, I think you get the feeling, we're not here as adversaries, we're here as,
Yeah.
we're promoting the community. In fact, people go by our cottage now and say, unsolicited, of course, how much positive impact we've had on the neighborhood with what we've done in our presence there. And they don't have any clue, in addition to what we're doing with the conservation
Right.
land, which is a significant thing. In fact, this last weekend, I think we told you last time, we're thinking about building a house there, your root house, and being residents here.
And that's on this,
You know, so you go up the hill, and
so if I'm coming from Wolfboro end,
it's on the right as soon as you see the speed limit sign.
on the right,
On the right, as you're coming from Wolfboro and going down the hill to the lake.
okay, so it's not on the lake.
No,
Okay, that's where I was confused.
no, it's a little, in fact, it was cleared years ago. I think
Yeah.
they said they had goats and pigs up there.
It's by the rain garden that's kicking around up in that
Yeah.
area.
So anyway, we had a friend of ours that we've known for 30+ years come this weekend. He's an architect, and go over the site and what we put there. We try to make it as unobtrusive as possible. And he's also a developer. So he walked around and looked at everything, and he said, boy, this is a prime spot here for, you know. I said, well, we're not gonna do that. We're thinking of, you know, we're gonna put this in conservation. And so, you know, I know the people that come there don't understand understand that. They don't understand the property boundaries and other things, but they've come to respect the fact that we're there. Even the local people who objected in the beginning said, why don't you go back to Florida? They have come around. And so we're just trying to improve the situation. You know, I've got a picture on my phone here of a lady sitting in a chair almost in the road. And I came out of the cottage and there was this truck with a big trailer and a big bulldozer on it that came within, you know, a few feet of her. And that goes to my point about the trucks, which I know you're, you know, keeping the trucks off there is not one of your favorite things, but maybe during the summertime there could be some weight limit or something like that when people are using that beach area.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just the neighborhood. I drove through there today just to see what was going on.
Not much today.
And
No, I saw a black
but,
truck down at the
you know,
turnaround,
beyond-
black pickup,
beyond
nobody
your-
in it.
He's doing a survey. He's doing our survey.
Oh, that's
It's
your man.
conservation.
Yeah.
Beyond your property, there were two ladies walking on the road and they would not get out of the middle of the road.
Really?
No. And I was just
Are you kidding me? Did they have a dog with them or anything?
no.
I did see a lady sitting at the beach with her dog,
Yeah.
fully dressed. She wasn't obviously gonna go swimming, but they were sitting there very nicely.
Yep.
And I noticed the black pickup truck. But speaking of beaches, and we talked about swim lines before, and you decided that you didn't want to put those out.
Well, I tell you what happens when we take some kind of action with anybody. People don't really like the fact that we're doing that. So I left a message for your Parks and Recreation guy
Right.
just recently.
Well, I was wondering if when you applied for your mooring permits and your dock permit, if
Yeah.
there was anything that coincided with a swim area.
Well, you know, I mentioned last time I got a swim line permit.
You did get that permit, but how did that coincide with your,
Okay, so you have to
was
be.
there a designated area? I
Yes,
don't know
that's
anything
right, I
about it.
drew the area. I
Okay.
kind of drew the waterfront,
Yep.
the easement, and then I drew the lines, and I just I drew it, and they approved it, you know, right away.
Mhm.
The dock is a seasonal dock.
Right.
And it has to, you know, come out. And-
Sure.
And it has to be, yeah, you have to, you know, it has to be your waterfront, and it has to be a certain distance from whatever.
Yeah.
So I think there's plenty of room there for
Okay.
that.
Again, for my own knowledge,
Yeah.
more than anything.
So has there been more talk about you doing the swim lines?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay.
It might have been through the Parks and Rec Department. However, obviously, it's pretty much over this year.
Yeah, that's right.
There will be another year coming.
No, I haven't approached our Parks and Rec director yet about that.
Okay.
But I remember the last time that we had talked, I had suggested that if you purchased the
Yeah,
lines,
yeah.
I'm sure that we could find a way to get them out.
Okay, well,
Our Parks and Rec director just happened to walk into this room.
oh. Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I just left a message for you today.
Oh, is that the, you wanted the lines?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
but
a lot.
but
I would certainly invite Dennis into the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know
Come
what
into
the,
the table.
So anyway, I said
Off
to
of
Dennis
Black
in
Pond
the
Road.
message,
That beach.
I believe I said the message that probably not this season, but next season
I did see that.
we'd want to do
Yeah,
that.
I'm totally not up to it as far as what you mean. Is it a private property that we're gonna put lines on?
No.
It's public,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, the lake is public.
Right.
There's a deeded public easement. Okay, so people come in there and swim. They bring their dogs.
Yeah,
The pontoon boats come right in there. So in fact, this year they were coming right up to the shoreline and tying up the trees.
yeah.
So you had jet skis and you had pontoon boats, dogs and people, and speedboats,
Yeah.
and swimming and all, and
Sure,
guys
yeah.
fishing in there.
Yeah,
So we've been pulling
Catching
lures.
little kids.
We've been pulling
And don't
lures.
forget the alcoholics
Oh, boy.
there.
We've been
as
pulling
well.
lures out of the sand and broken glass
boy.
because people drinking. They
Yeah.
drink that wicked tea or whatever it's called.
Twisted tea.
Glass,
Twisted
yeah,
tea. I know what that is.
in glass bottles and you know,
Yeah.
that breaks.
I mean, if it's just the cost of doing it, I'm sure we have extra booze and stuff. It's
You
not-
do?
It's not a big deal, no. The
Okay.
guy puts my lines out. In fact, we took on 20 Mile Bay, was it, last year.
Yeah.
For the doctors. I don't think it would be that big a deal to do something.
Okay. And
Yeah, because I went online.
You'd have to
and
show me
looked at
exactly,
lines,
you know.
I would.
And I don't know one line from another.
Yeah, but that would
And to
prohibit,
buy 300
traffic,
yards of it.
obviously, right?
We'll have to
The
decide
traffic
the area
is
we're
talking
going to
about
cordon
that.
off, you know, but
Yes,
the
it
progress
helps
is being
that.
made right now.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that, sure.
This year?
Don't have to.
No, it won't happen this year.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
I'm
Season's
just-
almost over.
I'm just checking, that's it. Don't get all
Summer's not
huffy.
done yet, no. But
So
We were just in here 3 weeks ago, you haven't done anything yet.
Exactly.
No, we've
I'm
been
not
here,
saying
we've
that.
been coming here for a couple of 3 years, talking about the same things. What is not allowed in the swim area? Do you know? I don't know exactly.
Well,
We
the floats
decide.
aren't, I mean.
You guys
float-
decide?
Yeah,
Yeah, floats are obvious.
I mean, obviously no alcohol,
Yeah.
that kind of thing, but I think it's the last place where people can take their dog for a swim.
What,
so.
20 mile?
No.
Bear Lake,
Bear
and
Lake.
Lang's
So,
Pond.
so let me ask you, I want to ask about that. Why are there no dogs allowed at, is it 19 Mile Bay?
Yeah.
Right,
Why are there no dogs
too many
allowed?
people.
Too many people?
I mean, I didn't make that decision, but that's my assumption, is that that's the major public beach in town.
Yeah.
And it's not so much in the water, it's the park and all
I
of
mean,
that.
people still bring their dogs, I actually put up the doggy thing there, they pick up after their dogs.
Yeah.
Because we don't have lifeguards there, and I'm not there all the time, so.
Yeah.
Right.
People still, bring their dogs, but,
Yeah, we find the product of along the beach there.
Sure,
From the
yeah.
dogs.
I wish we couldn't have geese or ducks.
Yeah, the
We have
ducks
we
poop
have the
on
same problem.
everything.
Oh, I know. We know that,
My little sunfish, my little dock,
Yeah.
it's purple.
yeah.
So I have a little anecdote, which kind of pertains to all of this. I was in a small town in New Hampshire, and I noticed that there was a sign with regulations before you went into the cemetery. And some of those signs said, no horses, no ATVs, no alcohol.
No loud music and so
No
on.
loud music, be respectful.
Yeah.
Do you know what town that was? It was,
She stumped me.
I'm a rookie here.
it was Tufton
Tufton.
Village.
They're right out here.
Yeah, there you go.
They
Exactly.
know very well.
And so what I said to myself was, they have more respect for the deceased than they do for our tiny little piece of public entrance to the lake with no signage about no dogs, no alcohol, no nothing. There's been clothes, there's been bottles, there's been a giant buoy there. There's no maintenance, there's nothing. There's no, bring in and bring out of your trash.
Where are you talking about?
On Lang Pond Road, the easement there to the water.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of disrespect, but there's a lot of people that come there that are very respectful.
Yeah, there are.
I mean, I was lucky enough to get a maintenance guy the last 2 years for like 20 hours a week for 19 Mile Bay, and now, we're looking to expand that to Melbourne because people bring their trash there and just dump it there and get over, it's overfilled.
Yeah.
I get in trouble for bringing all
I mean,
the town picnic trash up here because I missed the trash guy down there.
I mean, historically, that is no different than Lower Beach Pond. I think this Cops Pond is a similar one. It's public access to a great pond, public access to the water.
Yeah.
That's all the way we've treated it. 19 Mile Bay Beach and Melbourne Beach are town beaches, so that they've always fallen in two different categories, if you will. And what you're bringing forward is for us to bring Mirror Lake up into that category or close to the category of a public beach, where from the standpoint of the Selectmen, historically, it's been public access to the lake.
Well, that would be my preference, is just public access, but they treat it like a public beach.
Yeah, I mean, there's
You know what I mean?
we're not gonna put a fence up and say they can't go in there, because that,
No, I'm not saying you should.
so
I had
we're
suggested.
sort of
I
limited.
had suggested last time that says, explains what that easement is. And, you know, the property and so on. And, you know, in fact, I have a draft of it here. It's not very good. I had a sign guy in Wolfboro do it, but, so that people understand, because they don't, and when you tell them, they go, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, but how, I mean. the
Somebody's
thing-
trying to launch their
then
boat
you-
on, yesterday.
You have to be out there telling them. I mean, how many people are gonna stop?
They
and
stop,
read
I'll
the sign?
I'll tell you what, people come by, if they, you know, as we mentioned last time, people from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Rhode Island, wherever come. And they look at that sign there that says, no lifeguard, I think it says, and, you know, stuff like that. So they come and look at that. Some of them are even nice enough to ask me, is it okay if I go in there? I said, well, yeah, sure. But see, yesterday, somebody was trying to launch a boat, break through our property, over the wetlands and everything, and I said, hey, please don't, you know, go down there, or better yet, go to the boat launch.
On the other end of the.
They didn't even know it was there.
Yeah.
Well, there's no parking over there. Well, they knew it was there. No, I said, yes, you can park there. I said, fishermen park there. They park there almost all day and, you know, go out fishing, so. But I think, you
There's
know,
no parking at your place either.
well, there is, but
I mean, essentially,
they do park.
truck and a boat trailer.
Yeah, yeah. So is it possible to put up the parking directions there? Because as we said before, people park right next to the easement
Mhm.
on both sides, which is dangerous for people going in and out.
Yeah.
So what about that? What about,
You can mark your property any way you want.
yeah, but people don't, you know, they go out.
Yeah,
In
they-
fact, somebody gave Judy a lot of grief the other day about that. Who says, he said to her.
Oh, people are nasty lately.
I get that all the time.
Yeah,
There was a
and then
guy
he took a
halfway in the
I
water
had a
with a
posted
bottle
sign
of
up on the thing, tree, and he takes a picture, and I came out and I said, can I answer any questions for you? He goes, no, I got my own people to give me information. I said, okay, well, fine. Anyway, it would be helpful if there was an official looking no parking.
So tell me again, Bob, about, we can put our own signage however we want on our property.
On your property, you can do,
Can we put no parking signs?
on your property?
Yeah.
Sure.
There are some, you know, that were there before we even bought the place.
Well, we were told specifically.
Okay, you can't
that
put
we
them
could
within
not.
the easement.
No, we wouldn't.
And that includes the road easement. You can't post the road easement. That's our job. So,
Okay,
So the easement, the 21 or the 51 feet?
no, okay, that.
just talking about the
part-
road easement.
I'm talking about the road easement, because I think that's what you wanna post.
Exactly.
So we need to come to some agreement about what kind of posting's gonna be there, cause you can't post it.
Okay, well, can we talk about that?
You can, but nothing's gonna happen this year, or this season.
That's okay,
You know.
as long as we
So-
can figure out what to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you could give us some signage examples that you would prefer,
Okay,
and then we'll look at the signage that we have at the other beaches. I mean,
Yeah.
my friend went to Hungary for vacation, I'm leaving tomorrow for Scotland for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So we do get a break every now and then.
you should.
I would think that after Labor Day that we should be able to start talking about this. It takes a while to get the signage together as well, so.
Sure.
And then we wanna bring our Parks and Rec guy into the conversation about a swim line.
All right.
I'd like to give you a call maybe tomorrow and come over and just.
Yeah, come over and take a look.
Show me, yeah.
And like a no boat launch, and that would be,
Yeah, because people still try to launch their boats over there.
yeah.
Power boats, cause I wanna bring my kayak.
Yes.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
That was part of
Carry on,
the,
go.
that was the intent when we not only rebuilt the road, but we built a perched beach, as we called it,
yeah.
which is in need of repair. But the idea was that people could bring a canoe or a kayak and hand carry it down those little steps.
That's it.
It wouldn't be a problem. Before that, people were launching boats there. I've seen that happen more than
I
once.
saw a guy, well, guy, not this
And
year.
they probably tried it even
You had a
in,
back quite a ways out there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and that's been the beauty of that beach for years was is you could bring a 3-year-old there.
Yeah.
And they'd have to walk out 100 yards before they were waist deep. And
That's right.
It was really nice.
Yeah,
And then things grew, of course, and here we are today.
yeah, that's right.
But we always went there when we were little. My parents brought us there. In those days, the beach at 19 Mile Bay looked like 20 Mile Bay. You stepped off the highway into the beach.
Oh.
And kids, it was dangerous.
Sure.
So they rebuilt the road. Now we have 19 Mile Beach.
Okay.
But that has been, traditionally, that's where families brought little kids and everything because it was so shallow.
Mm-hmm.
However, we can see what it's deteriorated into. I'll call it deteriorating. And yes, we have signs that would be very appropriate to put there. We have them on our other beaches about what's allowed and what isn't allowed. The parking signs, if we come up with something that is acceptable to both parties, I think we can do that.
Okay.
It's not like it's rocket science.
No.
All the issues that come up, whether it be speed, rudeness, people doing whatever, are not new, as you know.
Yeah.
And we've somewhat dealt with them over the years. Having a minimal police force and not even a full staff is always going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you're aware of that, and you've mentioned it.
I'm
It's
aware.
nice that Wolfboro passes through, and they do. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Part of that road is in Wolfboro, as we know.
Yeah.
And we can do what we can do, but again, the wheels of government turn slowly. And we get the potholes filled up that you
Thank you
asked
very
about.
much.
Well, that was something that needed to be done. However, as I commented, and I don't know if you saw my reply in the email, we tried to get, I do believe that the area around those culverts has to be solid, right? We have to keep the ground there, but the smoother we make the road, the faster people are gonna go.
Well, I know, but
I just,
when
just
you're,
saying.
I know that
Yeah.
because I appreciated the potholes for a little while.
Yeah.
But then I didn't.
Well, the
Because when
noise-
those big trucks come through, it's unbelievable.
Right, oh, I understand. I live right on 109A, doesn't even need to be a big truck. 30 feet to the center line of the road. And believe it or not, I think Lang's Pond Road is actually smoother and better to drive on than
It was
109A.
It is.
at this point in time,
It is.
Yeah.
Which is an issue.
I think it's held up really well this year with all the rains.
Well, they've done their best.
Okay, so we'll come up with a suggestion for
Yeah.
no parking and where we would think it makes sense, okay?
Mhm.
And then you come on over and we'll look at where the swim line might go next year.
Come over tomorrow.
Yeah. And, you know, I think people do read the sign there, by the way.
Well, I would hope so.
They do.
I just find that the population has become ruder and nastier.
They have, but I'll tell you what, I want to repeat what I said from the beginning, and that is that the longer we've been there and the more people get to know us, the more respect there is mutually. And that's a good thing. So the road it's not a great thing, but on the other hand, it has been a way we've met a lot of nice people and made some friends. Because they're right there and they walk by or they're walking their dogs or whatever and they talk to us. In fact, I was out rowing this morning. I row every other morning across the lake. And there were two fishermen in a boat out there around 7:30. I didn't have these glasses on. I couldn't tell who they were. And I'm rowing by them and they go, "Out for your morning exercise, Kip?" And I said, "Yes." I don't know who they were. So anyway, this is all positive, and that's and this is why we're here. This is why we want to build a home here and stuff.
And you're gonna keep the cottage?
Yes.
When you build the home?
Yeah. So the survey, the guy surveyor, as you know, was there today. It was a little black pickup truck. There's about 3.5 acres around that cottage that'll be kept out, and then about 5 acres up the hill there, where it's cleared.
Right.
And the rest will go into conservation.
There's a lot of land going into conservation.
No, I was just thinking of.
Most people think
More
it's a
about the
swamp.
cottage?
Yeah.
No, most people think it's a swamp. There's only 30 acres out of the 130 that are left,
Yeah.
135 that are wet. The rest of it is pretty nice.
That's how they used to get to Dartmouth.
Pardon me?
That's how they used to get to Dartmouth.
That way?
Yeah.
Well, I know, the John Wentworth Highway, right? George.
George Wentworth. I call it George Wentworth. I don't know why.
Governor.
Okay, well, that would be a great thing.
Yeah, governor, same thing.
If we can agree on some no parking stuff.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
some signage.
Get some examples up that you like,
Okay.
and we'll have a look at them.
Yeah,
I don't
we can.
All
see
right.
that it can't be done. It's certainly not an obstacle that we can't overcome.
Great.
do the best we can. On the other hand, you know, human nature and people is the thing we,
Oh, I know.
we're our own problems, we know.
I know that. Yeah, we can't control all
Right,
that.
no, we'll do our best.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Do it.
Bob, can we talk about trucks again for a minute? Because I know you brought up the fact, well, maybe we should close the road to trucks, and you said, no, I'm against that. Well, what about a weight limit? Because there are these giant trailers with bulldozers on coming through there, and they really shouldn't.
Shouldn't, why?
Well, first of all, they're about a foot from the edge of the lake. And every time they go by there, in fact, I've been out on my little dock, and one goes by, and there's a part of the bank, and you can see it, if you'd like to come over, I'll show you, I'd like to, where sand is exposed now. And when those big trucks go by, it's like a sand, it's like, you know.
Is it because of the speed, if they slow down?
If they slow down, it'd be better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's a speed issue, not a truck issue.
I don't know.
What's the weight?
Well, the width is something that's very quantifiable.
Of the truck?
The width of a truck or whatever they're hauling. When it comes to weights, if you don't have a set of scales,
Yeah.
you really don't know what you're dealing with. And the town certainly doesn't have a set of scales that they can weigh a truck
I
with.
understand.
Now, you can look at your GVWs and all that on the truck
Yeah.
and say, this is what it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
but you have no way to verify it.
I understand.
And we could put a load limit on it. Again, it's
Some people will
enforcement, some will and
respect
some
it.
won't.
Well, it'd be better to have some.
It's just like, I mean, they closed Annie Nichols Road through trucks.
Yep.
I don't know how many times I've followed
It doesn't matter.
No.
dump trailers through
Well,
there.
no.
Yeah, okay.
And we've heard the opinion of our police chief that speeding tickets don't do any good at all either. They just pay them and keep speeding. So,
Really?
we have so many issues.
Well, it used to be that had some effect on your insurance.
Yeah,
Doesn't it still?
I thought it did.
it may,
It
but
does.
he doesn't seem to think it's
It's points on your insurance.
Well,
an effective method.
Well, that sounds like the
that's a
mentality.
personal opinion that I don't agree with.
Yeah, that sounds like
Well,
the mentality.
well, on the
that's
other
on-
hand, in my opinion, it's a personal and professional opinion, okay, from him.
Okay.
He has much more experience at this than I do. I'm on the receiving end of the tickets.
Yeah, me too.
That slows me down.
I haven't got one in a long time.
It does work on me. But,
Well, it sounds as if, you know, you can get away with that in Seattle or LA or San Francisco when there's hordes of people breaking into stores and nobody does anything about it and
Right.
everybody else has walked away with all this high-end merchandise. What are we gonna do? So
we'll see.
maybe he needs to go down to LA and be a police officer down there.
No comment. All right.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in. Dennis, thanks for, chiming in here and we'll
All right.
see what we can do there.
Take it one step at a time, right?
That's it.
And next up is our Parks and Rec
Got
director,
it.
Dennis. I'm just gonna run over here. I've gotta get a pen. Gotta go away from there. That's your pen.
Go ahead.
I'll take one right
Thanks
out of
again.
the pole over here.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in.
Take care. I'll see you.
I'll
No,
also check to make sure that it writes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I don't ever do it by
Going
myself.
on, Dennis?
How's everyone?
Thanks.
Full of Scotland, huh?
And, yep.
One for you.
Wow. Outstanding. I haven't seen you for a couple of months. Missed you guys.
And the pen runs out of ink immediately.
Take the good old Bic.
Thank you. I'm gonna keep that one, so.
Throw it away.
So I'm gonna go over to his house tomorrow and just check that. I'm not really familiar with the area. I know I drive that
No,
road.
no, I think it's a good plan. I mean,
Yeah.
we haven't made a decision to do anything.
Right.
But you're the one that would have to do it, so you might.
Yeah, no, I wanna see exactly what he was talking about.
Sure.
We do get extra stuff, but I'll give him a call and go over tomorrow.
Won't swim lanes be difficult because it is so shallow so far?
Yes.
Normally, wouldn't swim lanes be at depth, not just, yeah.
Oh, I'm sure he's good.
Without you being absolutely familiar with that pond, yes, but in this case, I don't think putting swim yards 100 yards out is gonna be a good idea. When it drops off, it goes quick, but it is knee deep for a long, long
He
time.
got his permit
Right.
with some information, so the
Right.
state's gonna
Yeah.
put the limitations.
Yes.
No, he did send me an email today, so I was gonna get to him. It was
All right.
kind of a coincidence. He was there.
So how are we doing?
All right, so here we go. Let's go. I meet my wife at 6 o'clock. I'm 5 minutes late. Let's go. Crazy summer weather, I know. Our next meeting is September 5th. Commission.
Got it in my calendar.
Yeah, it should be a good meeting. The first thing I want to do, last year you guys granted our swim instructor a $100 bonus. I want to see if we can do it again for our girl this year. She was outstanding. We didn't have the 50 swimmers, but we had about 28. But weather had a lot to do with it. There were days where she went out and bought cupcakes, lemonade, dive toys. She made up all the certificates for all the swimmers. We really lucked out with her. She's at Western Carolina University now, and she's pretty aggressive. Like I say, she's from a swim family, and I just really think I want to get her back next year. So if we could find a way to maybe get her a $100 bonus, I think it would help. Am I keeping that?
First question is, do you have it in your budget?
I think last year we took her out of revolving, didn't we?
I saw where it was looking at it.
Yeah. And yes, I do have it in the budget because we didn't go 3 sessions, we went 2 sessions, 2 3-week sessions, so we're gonna be low on that, under that. We're gonna be under on the maintenance too, so.
I'd make a motion that we allow Dennis to give a $100 bonus to a swim instructor out of his swim instructor salary line.
Okay.
I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks, guys. Sailing was outstanding. This guy Keith was the instructor. He really did a great job, but more importantly, I think our communication with the boat museum with Kerry Lynch is really good. They jumped in with the cardboard boat race, and last year we had 1 boat. This year we had 7, so it was a good marriage for us, and we're going to continue. Actually, they're going to actually have a cardboard boat course, I think. So we talked about that. Concerts went good. We had 1 rain out. We did have the biggest crowd. I think you were there for the Carolyn Ramsey.
Yep.
It was really crowded that night. And we did get a $500 donation towards the bike trail that night from the beverage group. So that was good. And if I got time, I'll just get into that a little bit. The other thing, the ballroom at the beach went good. The old home days, again, the one thing I think I screw up on is I don't involve enough community people, or maybe they don't get involved. I don't know what it is, but I'd like to get more involved. We changed the date. I know it upset some people. We did it to try and get more camps involved with the cardboard boat race. We did it because of Carolyn Ramsey. And we changed the venue simply because of one reason, the electricity. I paid a band $600 last year, and they played 20 minutes, and the electricity kept cutting out. And honestly, I know a lot of the old timers like just Tufton Row people. I think the other way. I want to show Tufton Row off to everybody, and I think the beach is the best way to do it. So that's where that went. The library came through with a scavenger, 3-day scavenger book hunt. We did have the concert with Carolyn Ramsey. We did give out, and Bob, I thank you for being there. We gave out 3 awards to 3 community groups. Diane Mullen, who's been paying for dog transfers from down south up to here. Last 2 years, she's given over 100 doggy bags to our paws in the park. And she's just a great worker with the Humane Society. Plus, she owns that great store down on Wolf Road, but she lives in Tuftonboro. The Tufts, again, the Tuff family, everything I ran, they were there. Not just one person, 5 of them. And I really counted on them for every event I had, and they were there. And the final group was Evan and Dave, you say it, Dolphinus?
Dauphin.
Dauphin, yeah, that's a tough name to say. And, you know, based on what they do with the ballroom dancing, they did the Dancing with the Decades, ballroom at the beach. The thing that really got to me was the thing they do for the people in the plows, where they leave out the coffee and everything. So I think all 3 were happy with that, and Bob helped with the presentation on that. We had the scavenger hunt with Laurel. That was on Saturday because she had to work here on Sunday. The church had a luncheon and a craft thing and a kind of a flea market. Like I say, the boat race had 7 boats. Town picnic was good. Again, we got to give compliments to the camp. They come through with, I think, 15 lasagnas, hot dogs, hamburgers, drinks, you name it, and Brandon really was behind it, so we thank them for that. Let's see what else we got. I really don't know how to do this whole Warren thing, and there's a couple of things I want to talk about. One is the bike trail. You know, we were nipping at it. I did get a return letter from the land bank from our meeting, and they suggested this Fist Family Foundation. The guy was born, I guess, in San Diego. The girl was from Rochester. They live in both Tuftonboro and Wolfboro. But the list of people that they give locally to money, so I did send them a note, and we'll see where that comes out. But I just think if we get a warrant article, it's gonna sink or swim. And we've just been jiggling this thing for 3 years, and like I say, the beverage lady gave us $500. She also sent a letter 2 days later saying she wants us to deal with the Wolfboro designer, not our designer, so there's a little issue there, but anyway. I just don't know how to do the warrant thing, and when's it due? Is it a petition? Do you guys okay it? I'm just clueless
No,
on it.
it's your department, so it would have to be a town warrant article, so we would have to approve it.
Okay,
So you need to make the ask sometime in, I don't know.
to ask to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay,
You ask us,
yeah,
we write the warrant article for that ask, take it to the budget committee, so we vote on it, whether or not we wanna do it.
yeah,
Budget committee gets to vote on it, and then it goes on the warrant for town
Okay.
meeting in March.
okay, that's
So it has to be pretty specific as to the total cost, how much money you've raised,
Yeah.
or will raise,
yeah.
and then the balance. And all you're gonna get out of the taxpayers, the balance.
And that's what I keep telling our commission, saying that the more money we raise now, if the warrant article, you know, obviously we ask for less in the warrant article if we keep raising money throughout the, you know, the year.
Well, you can create a warrant article where, a non-lapsing warrant article where you're obligated to raise a certain portion of the
Excuse me.
In other words, what's this whole thing gonna cost?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's 69 and it's 26 for the first phase, and we got about 14 in probably.
So $70,000 is the total cost,
Yeah.
is that what you're saying?
And say we
How
got,
much
say we
money-
got 15 in.
And you have $15,000 that you've raised.
Yeah.
So the most you're gonna get out of a taxpayer with a warrant article is $55,000.
Yeah.
But we could create a warrant article that says it's gonna be funded by donations to the tune of $25,000.
Mhm.
You've still got 10 grand to raise.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's $45,000 going as a tax.
Yeah.
If you do a warrant article, there's a little psychology here, if you do a warrant article and ask the taxpayer for money, say you ask them for $50,000, that's that less for the people that are gonna give donations.
Right.
Because you're taking it out of their pocket,
Oh, right.
whether they voted for it or not,
Right.
you know.
No,
I
see what
don't,
you-
I don't wanna, you know,
Yeah,
I'm
no, I see what you're saying. It's almost
You know what I
like
mean?
the Abenaki thing. Or,
yeah,
Very much like that.
Yeah,
very much
yeah,
like that.
Sure, I see. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, we'll talk.
think about that.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing that really needs, our sand is turning to rock. We really got to start looking at sand, and I guess it takes a long time to go through the state and get approval to do sand, both at Melvin and 19 Mile. You know, my maintenance guy's done, but I've been grooming it, and as you're grooming it, it looks great. And then I'll go down and I'll rake the beach by the water, but you can see where the stairs are, the sand is slowly going away, and it's just like pebbles. So I think that's, and they
So
say
it's
every
the
7.
upper part that needs.
Yeah, the upper part.
Not the lake part.
No.
Yeah, I think you,
Is that a
Jack
warrant?
should know all the ins and outs.
if you
about
look at the
that.
permit that we've got on that, you can put sand up there. It's just limited to the,
Without a
yeah, I
Going
think
through
you're
this?
allowed to.
Again, I would ask Jack.
okay.
And we
Yeah,
He
still
should
have,
have it all.
and we still have a permit that, as I understand, is still valid,
Right.
Right,
right?
The permit from what does that mean?
When it was constructed,
right.
Oh,
when that was constructed, I think the permit is still valid.
Right.
Yeah.
But Jack will know the ins and outs of this. And
okay. All
He's
right.
really a good
Okay. I'll
useful-
ask him. Yep.
entity. He's a good
Okay.
cat too.
Okay, I'll check with him.
Yeah.
We did get a small donation through the Children's Hospital down at Hitchcock on free life jackets. Again, this big thing of people, I mean, was it 2 weeks ago, we had 4 drownings in New Hampshire. So we do have life jackets. Unfortunately, we got them probably the 1st of August, the summer's half over, but they're there if people need them. And I knew like the sailing group didn't have life jackets. I was putting kid life jackets on these guys for sailing, so that was a good thing. We do have a problem with our shed. The kid doing maintenance dropped his key between the shed and the stairs. The father of the kid took the stairs away, and you can see the whole thing is just rotted from ants or whatever, so that's something that's really gotta be looked at. The door still locks, but it's really in tough shape. I gotta ask you guys, we did get a potential donation of a check of $1,000 from Melvin, specifically for a picnic bench. Jackie approached me on that. It was the Beatrice Ames, Maria Greensmith signed the check. And they want a picnic bench, and I'm saying, you know, Jackie, we got 2 beautiful, heavy picnic benches at Davis Field. It'd be nice to take one of those. So they wanted a picnic bench, so they want me to order a bench. The bench they wanted is almost $900. It's kind of like an oblong thing with 2 seats, 2 seats, 2 seats. Heavy.
But they're paying for it.
Yeah, well, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
With the shipping and everything from Illinois, it's almost $1,400. So
Well,
they gave us a check for $1,000. Whether they pay the difference or not, I don't know. But you had mentioned any donation
no.
has to go through you guys.
Yeah, I mean, the deal that I heard
Yeah.
from the tax collector was these folks wanted a particular picnic table
Yeah.
to commemorate something.
Yeah.
And they picked it out and they were gonna pay for it. And I specifically asked, does that include getting it here? And she said, yeah.
It's 14. It's almost 1,400.
Well,
That's
I'm just
fine.
saying it does.
Yeah.
You don't buy it unless
Right.
we get all the money.
Right.
We don't have extra
I know
money.
Jackie was dealing with them based
We
on
don't
that.
have any extra money for anything.
Right.
So, no, if they want a $1,400 table, they can pay $1,400. I mean, you can ask the other 2 members here, but that's my feeling.
I'm in total agreement.
You know, we have a picnic table available for them for free.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good.
The woman did tell Jackie she's didn't know what the shipping would be,
Yeah.
and she will come in with a check when Jackie lets her know what it was.
Excuse me. Then I would let Jackie know to hustle that woman in here with whatever the cost of the difference is for the shipping, and then they can have their picnic bench.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
I'm with you. Okay, so the fall, I'm trying to get 3 days now at the gym. Last year we had 2. Tuesday's going to be men's basketball. Wednesday's going to be ballroom dancing, and Thursday's going to be roller skating. If roller skating don't go, we're going to switch back to dodgeball. But that's my plan. I don't have the okay yet from the school whether I can get 3 days. So
So we're not gonna do ballroom dancing up here?
No, we had to move it there last year. We had a winter class here, but then the spring class, it was so big we had to go to the gym.
Wow.
Yeah. So the other thing is coming up, punt, pass, and kick. They got a call from Maine. They don't do it. They want Maine kids to come down. So I'm gonna take the Maine kids in. Yard sales October 7th.
I think you'd be paying a fee, the main kids.
There's no fee. It's free. Yeah. We are doing a thing called Boo at the Beach. I got a call out for volunteers. We're trying to do a haunted pavilion, carnival games, pumpkin painting, fortune teller, trunk or treat, and it's going to be a 2-day event. The trunk or treat will just be the day of Halloween, so that should be a big Halloween experience for our kids. The final thing I have is just, we talked a little bit a few meetings ago about the ramp for the winter going down there, and you had mentioned maybe a public hearing or something, but that's coming up before you know it. You know, we talked about the damage. Remember that?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the engineer to come back with something.
Yeah. But I mean, we were saying, do we allow it?
How do we allow it?
Do we allow them on the? So, I don't know, that's just, you know. it's
Doubtful that anybody would be putting a Bob House on before the 1st of January.
Yeah,
But you're right, it's coming up. Time does fly.
yeah.
So we'll have to see about that. I have a question though.
Go ahead.
What are we gonna do with that floating raft that's washed
It's
ashore?
going to storage.
Going to
Yeah,
storage.
I got guy, it's just,
Because I've heard mixed reports on it.
yeah.
Some people love it, some people think
No,
it's
no,
safety
it's-
hazard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody claimed it?
I don't wanna go in there because there's snakes under there. I hate snakes.
Oh, okay. But no one has claimed it,
No,
okay?
no.
So we own it.
Yeah.
Salvage rates, I guess. Do we have salvage rates on the lake like we do on the ocean?
Probably.
No, it's been how many months? I mean,
Is there-
and I got a feeling they just said, "Psh." And like I said, I did contact the lady, come get it, and it never happened, so.
They-
Oh, so you did find it, the
Yeah,
They
owner?
used to have to have registration tags.
Do I?
They used to.
Used to have to, I don't know,
Yeah, I don't know.
well, whether anybody did or not, you know. it's
Was
different.
there somebody in town or did it float across the lake?
Wolfboro.
Oh, I came quite a ways.
It came north.
Uh-huh.
That's interesting. Came through the
The thing's worth
Bible
about $3,000. It's a beautiful raft. It's got seats that pump up, place for umbrella seats.
Drink holders,
Yeah.
oh, for sodas.
Yeah. That's all I have, guys. Anything?
I don't have anything.
Nice effort this summer.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Thanks.
Well, looking to get bigger and bigger all the time. Get it out there.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see you,
Thanks,
boys.
guys.
You worked very hard
Yeah.
and the Tufts, like you said, every time they were there.
Yeah, no, I know.
Good stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on to the signature file. We have an MS1 here to be signed by us.
And Audrey, I haven't looked at the MS1. Are you confident in those numbers?
And you did look at it last week,
Did
but,
I? Oh, I was
We-
going over what you have in your Muni Smart.
the 434. So the MS1 is the assessor evaluating property. And then at the end of it, the question we had was about the pilot payment in lieu of taxes.
Yes.
And so we only report what we've actually received in 2023,
Mhm.
but the line item under that is 2022. And it's DRA guidance. I checked with, help me with his name, the assessor.
Rod.
Rod Wood.
Yes, thank you. He did correct the name in his copy, but he'll use that cover page, but DRA actually had to go in and change
So it doesn't matter what we want. DRA has to change things.
basically as far, because you had a camp that paid in lieu of taxes.
Right.
And so when he fixed the number, I said, but it doesn't have the right camp name still. And he said DRA had to do that for him.
And I think we had more than one camp give us money, but not yet in 23, so.
Correct, so.
So, do I have a motion to sign this?
I'll make a motion to sign.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is redundant. And that's the only thing we have in the signature file, so that'll go right along.
Chip, do you have a question about the MS4?
I'm losing track of your acronyms.
The revenue?
You're gonna answer those. so
Yes, okay.
I'm okay with.
Oh,
And I'll put something in on Friday when it's due, but you still have a chance to revise it. So
I'm
at the next
gone,
meeting.
I'm gone on Wednesday.
that's right.
So, does it need 3 signatures?
No, it needs my signature.
Just yours.
You don't have to sign it at all.
And I'll trust your judgment.
Ooh.
And you don't wanna hang it up just because I'm not gonna.
But it should be reviewed again at your next meeting.
Yeah.
All right, action items. We have a request from End 68 Hours of Hunger, one of our charitable donations that we do, to increase our amount from $2,500 to $3,500. What I've done here is I've put a note for Cammy to save this for budget season.
Yeah.
So that'll work out reasonable. We'll discuss that then. Now we have one to me that's brand new. And this is one that I'm also recommending we save for budget season. It's asking us to consider $500 appropriation to advocate for Center Tufton Borough's most vulnerable children. And what this does is it allows the CASA, which it doesn't spell out what it is. I roughly know that it's a court-appointed special advocate.
CASA.
Yes, court-appointed special advocate. And this is to help protect the children in Tufton Borough. And it says here that the children served were 44 in Carroll County. It doesn't exactly tell me how many, or if any, were done in Tufton Borough, but $500 doesn't seem like a huge amount. But again, we should save that for when we do our budgets and we do our charitable donations, eh? We have a notification here of, do we want to award the Boston Post cane? Phil Stockman has declined. Mr. Walter Ratcliffe has no interest. And we're basically down to the point where we have Mr. Frederick Antel. He was asked and did not want it. So we're back to David Hager, who is the next likely candidate. Does someone want to get in touch with David Hager there, Cammie?
Mm-hmm.
See if you'd like to have that? We still have a list, but
You'll be at the top of the list. Well, I'll be there before you.
yes, you will. Thank you.
Did we get the other one back yet?
We only give out a.
We only give out a replica, the real
Yeah, I know.
canes. It's
Did we get the replica?
no, we don't get it back.
We don't?
They
that.
keep the replica.
Okay.
We have an email from Mr. John Garcia concerning the Class 6 road from Federal Corner up to Willan. Once again, he doesn't think he's really able to come in and talk to us about it, but he wants to do road improvements.
Yeah, and I thought
I think he needs to come in here
he
and
needs to talk to the road agent.
road agent for sure. So I can't say that we can authorize to do him anything.
So he needs to come in or he needs to talk to Jim?
Both.
Both.
Okay.
But talk to Jim first.
We'll talk to
and
Jim
then
first, so that we don't double up our time and waste it. All right, we have our first letter of speeding issues from Max Ledoux. We have a request that wants to know when the speed limit sign on Butternut Lane is going to be replaced. Turning into a speedway again. That would be the road agent. We had a request from Mr. Lochner that we already talked about. We have a letter of concern with different issues from the police chief about modifying the police station further. I presume you both have seen that.
Yeah, and I don't know that
It's a letter that he sent to us.
Right. I don't think it's applicable.
That's perfectly fine. We have a letter reaching out with concerns about dead trees on the school grounds. I asked the school, but it was informed that the grounds fall into town property, in which case they're not school grounds, they belong to the town. So,
Well, Foss Field belongs.
no,
Davisfield.
Davisfield.
Or Davisfield, I'm sorry.
Right. There are a few very dead and dying trees along the fence line of the field, some dead and leaning trees in the woods behind the swing set at the playground, and some very low-hanging branches need to be cut back. Could the town please address the hazardous trees at least very soon? Once again, that falls into the auspices of the road agent for tree removal, if I'm not mistaken. We can advise him that we have this letter. Cammie, would you like to pass that along, please?
Yep.
I think I overheard the rec director talking about that, so check with Dennis
It's
first.
entirely possible.
The trees at
Yeah.
Davis? Okay.
I have an issue with the driveway, throwing dirt into the road on 22 Sodom Road. I actually drove by there the other day and it looks like the road agent has addressed that.
Yeah.
We have another letter from Mr. Ledoux, speaking of issues that he has with speed, lack of enforcement, etc.
When's the next time the police chief is coming in?
Next meeting, the 11th, September 11th.
We have a very extensive folder here
The 9 o'clock meeting.
from the Winnipesaukee organization to the planning board, which talks about a maintenance workshop for public officials and especially how to address runoff from roads and things, which would affect water quality. And it's been noted it's a good idea to share this with Jim Bean as well, so I'm assuming if Cammie hasn't done it already, she will. And the Conservation Commission, I'm sure one of those officials will be more than happy to attend the meeting. We'll see about that in the next meeting. Then we have an invitation to bid application, I guess maybe, or at least a notification. Implementation of best management practices in Tuftonboro. Lakewood Pisaki Association invites interested contractors to submit a proposal for the installation of stormwater management and erosion control measures at 3 sites in Tuftonboro to reduce polluted stormwater runoff and nutrient loading to Lakewood Pisaki. This is another very extensive package, which has diagrams and all kinds of
That's from
interesting looking
Susan.
engineering things. Excuse me?
That's from Susan and on the planning board.
Right, coming from the planning board.
Yeah.
And apparently they would like permission to post this on the website as soon as possible.
And that's from the planning board or conservation?
This is from
Planning
the
board.
planning board. If you really want to go over that in a lot of detail, you'll be a while, but I see no issue with them posting that on the website.
No, I wasn't at the last meeting, so I can't speak to that.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we allow the planning board to post this invitation to bid on the website.
Okay, I'll second for discussion.
Sure, go for it.
All right, until it's fully reviewed, and I don't have a problem with them posting it, but I don't think we should award anything until we've got a little more personal back and forth.
There's a lot going on here in this, and it basically shows the scope of the work to be done. It has a contract,
Right.
change order procedures, the whole 9 yards. So it says here that 2 signed original copies of the bid proposal must be provided to the Lakewood and Pisaki Association by 4 o'clock on Friday, September 8th.
Is Lakes Region,
Yeah,
The Lakewood and Pisaki Association.
I think
are they
she
paying
said,
for it?
yeah.
So they're paying to have these pieces of
And I-
earthwork done?
believe that she said they have 2 bids, they need 1 more, which is why they want to post it on our website.
Okay.
If that's truly the case, I don't see any problem with posting it on the website.
I don't either.
Okay.
So I made the motion, it's been seconded. You want to beat it some more? or-
We've discussed it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Tell her to go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, yours, Kenny.
Taking us through action items. Correspondence. Board of Adjustment has, gonna have a hearing on the 23rd of August, which has already gone by, so we might as well just forget that one. There's been an appeal of a variance. Doesn't say when it's going to happen, but they're going to appeal the results of the 23rd. That'll come about. Okay, the fire department lets us know that we have, and the use of engine 4 from Moltenboro until some time. Hopefully, we'll have our own engine 4 put back together. Course completion for Chief Andrew Shiguri. And this is for implicit bias. We have a Town of Tuftonboro report from the NRRA, customer activity report, which for the month of July, which should actually coincide with our transfer station report. So here we have Donahue, Tucker, and Chandela explaining to us what they're doing with the Charter Communications cable franchise renewal agreements, especially in this case, including Tuftonboro's, but there are other towns. And I've read through it, I don't know if either one of you has, but
I have not.
they're in negotiation.
Right, well, and I'll take this opportunity to reiterate my position that we shouldn't sign anything.
Okay. They've not asked us to sign anything at this point.
No, when they finish their negotiations.
Right.
There are a number of towns in New Hampshire that I know of have an unsigned agreement.
Right.
we have no skin in this game, no ability to negotiate rates or
Mm-hmm.
programming or anything,
We're held hostage.
or even the location of their runs.
Right.
And there are people in town
That
that
don't.
have cable.
Right. If you wanna read this, Bob, I'll leave it out.
I'd like to review it, yes.
Okay.
Could I copy? Yeah, I can take it home.
We have a letter from the Department of Revenue Administration. They've received a signed contract between the town of Tuftonboro and R.B. Woods Associates to complete a cyclical reevaluation of all taxable and non-taxable property. Basically, this affirms that it was done. Thank you, DRA. We have a memo from Chief Shiguri. He has attached data from the speed sign that was south of Tuftonboro store from July 10 to August 8th. The median speed was 35.18 and the 85th percentile was 39.76. The recommendation for setting speeds is within the 5 mile per hour of the 85th percentile, or the median. It appears the vast majority of traffic is traveling within the 5 mile an hour speed limit. It has charts and diagrams that he got from his information.
So we're gonna police by the bell curve. Obviously.
You would have to ask Chief
85% of
Shiguri.
the people are obeying the law, but
Yes.
85% of the people are getting in accidents or hitting people.
Right,
So,
that's basically what that says.
yes.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
15% that I'm concerned about.
Yes. Now we have the same kind of a report, and this one is for the speed sign that was north of Melbourne Village near Harvest Lane from July 25th to August 15th. The average speed was 35.06, and the 50th percentile was 35.36, and the 85th percentile was 40.02. Then the pace speed, whatever pace speed is, was 31 to 41 miles per hour, and it has the charts and all the stuff with it.
Graphs, circles and arrows on the back.
Now, while we are on that, we have another letter. It's actually a request from Mr. Ledoux for all kinds of information that we don't have available. Where and how long his people were stationed around town, etc. And what we have here from the chief says that not only does 91A not require us to create those records or reports, it does require any that they have, but that he has nothing responsive to this request. So I would think it would be all right for Cammie to forward this to Mr. Ledoux, if Cammie doesn't mind.
Andy's email?
Yes.
Okay.
It explains it as best as he can.
All right.
You can forward the reports that are in that file.
But this is not.
In the area that
It
he
does-
wants it.
Well, one is not in the area, but he's asking, the chief has tracking devices in his cars. He wants the records of where those people were in a certain time frame around town, and the chief doesn't have those records. He's not required to keep those.
I don't think you give them to him anyway.
Well, again, I would like Cammie to forward that.
I'll bring up my notion of robbing the Melbourne Bank while they're all somewhere else in town.
Cammie, do you need this particular copy to do
No.
that with? All right, thank you. We have a minor wetlands permit for, says here for Jane Morgan, tax map 14, lot 1, sublot 2. It's thick. It's come through from the Conservation Commission because they see all these. Doesn't look to be anything drastic. It's here to look at if you'd like to. And we have a standard dredge and fill. This is once again the copy that's forwarded from the Conservation Commission. And this one, I have to find out where it is. Having a little trouble locating the tax map.
Which one you want?
That's the second one.
Is 18 Elm Point 5214.
Wow. Thank you, Cammie. Again, they always send it to us. They check it out as best as they can. So that leads us to Selectmen's updates. Yay. Either of you two have anything they'd like to update?
No, other than, like I said, I was not at the last planning board meeting, but the planning board meeting before that, there was some heavy discussion about that piece of property between Glad Eaton's and the motel. There is an entity that is planning on putting some summer cottages up there, some rental units.
Oh, Airbnb.
Yeah,
I'm not
something like
sure
that.
that Airbnb is actually a legal entity, and we tend to call short-term rentals Airbnbs now.
Right.
But Airbnb is a company, and you can sign up and be part of their company. And then they have some rules and regulations that may or may not be followed by other people doing it independently. But that's the nature of the beast, is in summer cottage rentals. But in the defense of Airbnb, they are indeed a legal entity, and they do have some rules.
No, I'm
Just
sure.
so I
they
can
are.
say that. I don't, we,
I guess, I mean,
Kleenex are facial tissues, right? But we all call them Kleenex.
we're a small town.
We are.
But there are towns not too much bigger who are struggling mightily with short-term rentals.
Yes, they are.
Conway being one of them.
Well,
And
I'd rather not be one of those if we could avoid it, but we,
But we're gonna end up being, I mean, we've got so much lakefront, frontage, there's no way around it. And if you look at our forms that we've been muddling over and the Form MS1 that we just sent in, we get no money from those as far as rooms and meals are concerned, nothing. So, and yet, or insurance inspections from the fire department, that was one of the reasons why I asked the chief to come up with a number
right.
for doing inspections, because all of those places are gonna wanna be insured.
Absolutely. And the life safety, as they call it, is super critical. You can't have people burning down because their gas grill was permanently piped and left on all weekend, and then when they left, I've seen that happen. Actually, it didn't burn the house down, but the deck was rather scorched. And you gotta have those, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's an issue that we're not gonna have to struggle with.
No, and short-term rentals is in the activity folder of the planning board.
There you go.
You know, it's tabled for the moment, but it's there, it's in the
Yeah.
folder.
Well, I spent a significant amount of last week on the Union Wharf project. I was prepared to go to Concord if necessary, but I guess I didn't have to.
No.
We did get a $100,000 grant, which was nice, not without a bit of effort by our staff.
Right.
I think that now Tyler has to actually get a wetlands permit from DES to go along with the grant right that we just received. And I believe, my understanding is that he's gonna start getting us some bidding going on September this fall.
Very
We
wonderful.
are looking at, that grant has to be spent by August 2024.
Right.
So,
Time to get on it.
yeah, we need to get on it.
But that grant and right is a major hurdle that we've
Yeah, I
fought
was,
for.
I was waiting for the grant language on the $100,000 to see if it was like FDA, where we have to spend all our money and then we
Right.
spend their money. If it's not, then we'll spend the $100,000 first, we'll get it out of the way.
Right, makes good sense.
Make sure it's spent before August.
And it's only fair to bring Chairman Pike up to speed on Mike Duffy, who we hired for $9,700 to take over the management of that project.
Oh, I'm sorry, Guy wasn't here for that.
He wasn't here, no.
Yeah, so Tyler, has shifted the operational work over to Horizon Engineering,
Mike Duffy.
Mike Duffy,
Mhm.
knows the contractors, knows how to
Right.
write the bids, do all of the legwork that goes into it. And so we hired him last week for $9,700, and that will get us through to completion as far as.
He'll basically, he'll be the project manager at that point.
Perfect. You got somebody with experience, knows what they're doing.
Right.
I mean, I've been around driving sheet piling. That's really not experience that we need for this.
No, but
It's good.
I mean, he knows how to run the bids out there.
Right.
How to manage that.
Excellent.
And you got everything from, on the police station? You
Yes,
like that?
yeah, that was all forwarded to me when I was in Hungary. And,
So-
and we have that in our folder here. It's slowly being whittled down to getting in the direction we wanna go, but it's gonna be a while yet, I think.
Yeah, I'd still like to get Grant Thompson to bid on the concrete, because I think that concrete number is way out of line.
I think the whole project is way out of line.
But, well, the numbers we're getting are just way too
Insane,
big.
they're absolutely insane.
And one-
I would also entertain a discussion at some point of going it on our own, getting rid of the grant and seeing if we can find local contractors.
Well, I'd be happy to have you guys have that discussion for another couple of weeks, come up with something.
I just think
I'm not
it should be on the
opposed-
table.
I'm not opposed to doing part of it, and getting started.
Go as far as we can go.
Yeah, and I guess we have to let Phil play his game out with Fallon.
I think that's only
And
fair.
I think that they have to be on notice that needs to happen in the next week.
Right.
So you guys have got numbers that you can actually look at. Because it shouldn't take them a month to come up with better numbers. Or
I wouldn't think so.
It's just-
But apparently it is. I don't really.
Would it be okay to reach out to local contractors just to see if we could drum up some interest?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't awarded anything.
No, I see no problems at all. Why should you be asking me any more than you do, Chip?
Yeah, I mean,
We're all here.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't cost a nickel to make a phone call and see if there's any interest
And
to
then bring
anyone we
it to
know.
the table and then we vote,
Right.
and then we decide.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't cost anything to look around, and if somebody were interested, I mean, I don't know who, but,
People are busy, but we'll see.
yeah.
It's good. Well, as you know, I just returned, and I did jump right in on Wednesday about the possibility of the revolving fund for the transfer station. I found out it was indeed possible to do by RSA, and we did a little bit of work on that, yes.
You wanna talk about that?
No, I just said, that's bringing the
Okay.
public up to date, but I do have something to talk about.
Right.
Yeah, we did get another letter from a lady that telling us all about the seaplane operations at 19 Mile Bay and Union Road. That's my update,
And the seaplane operation is all off a state road,
yes.
so there's nothing, I mean, I don't know what you think we can.
I
do.
have no idea,
On the revolving fund for the transfer station.
yes.
That all of a sudden affects your revenue,
Yes, it does,
because now you can't include it as revenue.
That's right.
It's somewhere else.
right?
So when we talk about doing that for whatever reason,
Mhm.
let's keep that in mind.
Sure. I'm aware that has been one of your concerns.
Oh, I'm sorry,
We talked about this
I
before.
repeated myself.
A little bit, but not bad. There's two different ways of doing it, the way that Audrey came up with for these warrant articles. But on the other hand, if it can reduce our operating budget by enough, which I'm thinking it could, it may offset what we don't get out of it. There's a lot of things to
Yeah,
vary.
and then how do you manage it? Are we gonna have to have like a Parks and Rec committee?
Well,
I mean, we're gonna have to have somebody other than the manager.
there's
of the-
two ways of doing this according to these warrant articles. I'll just give you the quick Reader's Digest condensed version. One way of doing it is we put those funds into a special revenue account, but everything has to be done and approved by town meeting how you spend it. The other one is we put it into a revolving fund, just like the Parks and Rec, and that allows the funds to be drawn as needed, just like anybody does. They submit a chit or whatever, we repaired this, we bought this, we did whatever, and it goes through the treasurer and then it gets approved. So there's two ways of doing it, and Audrey knows
Actually,
more about it.
it's with prior approval from the selectmen, so if you had a
Right.
bid to replace that cap, they didn't talk about the transfer fund, then you could say, yes, you
Right.
all approve it.
Yeah, I mean, I would have.
Yeah, you would approve it, not
I
the department
think
head.
there has to be some oversight on it,
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying.
Well, maybe we might have to rewrite that warrant article there, because neither one of those speaks about the selectmen improving anything. However, it can be done. It may or may not be worth it. We got time to discuss it later on. But I did jump into that. I don't know why it was on my mind for 2 weeks, but it was. And I thank Cammie for forwarding me all the different emails and all the information while I was on vacation because I did look at it. Is there any other business we need to go over?
Yes, please.
Ms. Audrey?
Yes?
Yeah, just quickly, I don't know your process for budget, and I'm working on a calendar of when I would like budgets from different departments, and then when you can review them. Do you normally review them at your regular work meetings?
Okay, what you need to look at, I think you've got a schedule of the budget committee meetings.
Yes.
So we need to look at, those are generally on a Wednesday, I think. The Monday prior, not the direct.
I am backing
Tuesdays.
into that schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you had a meeting on, I can barely see, but let's say it's the
Chip, I gave you a
12th,
calendar.
I did.
the
So,
12th,
yeah,
12th of September.
right, for example, the budget committee meets on 10/3.
Okay, 10/3.
So if they look at the town clerk budget, do you want to look at it on 9/25?
At the very latest,
Okay,
yeah.
so, and then I'll have it due to me a week before, so you'll get it.
Right.
You'll have it time to review. So, and I'm making assumptions like you don't want police and fire on the same night.
No.
Right.
Right.
God, no.
That's why I separate them now.
Generally speaking, we take care of all the little ones first. So we might have 6 or 7
Yep.
little
yeah,
budgets
I'm
for
with
the
you.
first meeting.
Charitable contributions, for example, things like that, although
Cemetery.
sometimes we have requests in time to do it very early, other times we don't. So we just assume we're gonna give them the same amount of money,
Right.
and then they come in later on, well, too late. Cemeteries is a possibility.
Yeah, I
What's
have
in there?
I've got that. I
Yeah.
think I'm good with that. But do you do any extra special work sessions, or you do them all at your regular meetings?
We
Well,
generally
okay.
do it at our regular meeting.
We try to do it at our regular
Okay.
meetings, and we may or may not have to have a work session,
Alright.
but
We have had work sessions in the past.
it's been done on Fridays especially. We'll see.
But that's not, yeah, the problem is that that's really pushing it for the budget committee. If we only give them a couple of days to look at it,
Yeah, no,
they get grumpy.
yeah, I won't let them get grumpy on you. So are we
They're not the only
having,
ones that can be grumpy.
there's no meeting next week because of Labor Day?
Labor Day.
Correct.
The next one should be.
11, September
And
And
11th.
you're not gonna be here for that, it'll be
It's
done
9
on the
a.m.
11th, right?
Sept-
You'll
Monday,
get back to what,
September
14th or
11th.
15th?
Okay,
At 9 o'clock in the
Only
morning.
miss one meeting.
alright, that was primarily what I had.
Good.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
I'll second that. Oh, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.